everybody, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be discussing week 12 predictions of this NFL season. Last week I went 8-6, definitely room for improvement, but now let's get into it. On Thursday Night Football, Steelers versus Browns, I'm going to take the Steelers to win this game because they have gone on a 5-game winning streak. They're looking perfect, especially with Russell Wilson coming now. With Russell Wilson coming, they're looking even better than they were before. Meanwhile, the Browns have lost 2 in a row, and ever since that Ravens game, they've been looking like a terrible football team. So I'm going to take the Steelers. Next, we have Commanders versus Cowboys. I'll be taking the Commanders to win this game. The Commanders are 7-4, while the Cowboys are 3-7. They are clearly a lot better team this year, so I'm gonna take the Commanders. Next, we have Titans versus Texans. I will be taking the Texans to win this game. On one hand, you have a team that's winning their division and is looking like a pretty good playoff team, but on the other hand, you have a team that's looking like a contender for the #1 overall pick. The Texans are the good team, and the Titans are the bad team. That's why I'm going to take the Texans. Next, we have Chiefs versus Panthers. I mean, you can't phrase this any differently. This is like the best team versus the worst team. So I'm going to take the Chiefs in this one. Next, we have Patriots versus Dolphins. I'll be taking the Miami Dolphins to win this game. Ever since Tua has returned, they've been looking like a really good football team. They went 2-2 for the last 4 weeks since Tua returned. Next, though, we have Lions versus Colts. I'll be taking the Lions in this game. They're clearly a much better team. They have just blown out the Jacksonville Jaguars. 52-6? How is that even possible for a team to win by that much? Next, we have Bucks versus Giants. I'll be taking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win this game. Same thing as the Lions-Colts game, the previous one. The Buccaneers are just a way better team, and although they have lost 4 in a row, this is a game that will help them get on track and help them hopefully reach the playoffs. Next, we have Vikings versus Bears. I'll be taking the Minnesota Vikings to win this game because the Bears offense this season has just looked non-existent, and the Vikings defense has been looking like a top tier one. So I expect the Vikings defense to absolutely lock up Bears offense. Next, Broncos versus the Raiders. I'll be taking the Denver Broncos in this game because the Raiders, just like the Titans that we talked about earlier, they are a team that's contending for the #1 overall pick. They're in no shape or form to beat this Broncos team. To be fair, though, the Broncos are very reliant on one player, Bo Nix. If Bo Nix isn't doing well, then this team isn't doing well. Next, though, we do have the Cardinals versus the Seahawks. I will be taking the Arizona Cardinals to win this game because I think that they are a much better team. Even though that their records are only like 1 game off from each other, the Cardinals are looking like a legit team. They won 4 in a row. Some outstanding games. The last 2 games, actually, they've won by over 20 points. And meanwhile, Seahawks just beat the 49ers by a very slim margin. I don't expect that to happen here. I expect their defense to struggle against this Cardinals offense. And yeah, I think that should be the gist of the whole thing. Next, though, we do have the 49ers versus the Packers. America's game of the week, probably. We will be taking the Green Bay Packers to win this game because the 49ers, they have been looking like a very unsteady team this year. They are 5 wins, 5 losses. Meanwhile, the Packers are 7 wins, 3 losses. The 49ers have been looking like a terrible team this year, and that proves because they're actually last in their division. Meanwhile, the Packers are 3rd in their division, despite having such a good record, and they have been looking like a good team. Next, though, we have the Eagles versus Rams. This is a clear pick in my mind. You gotta go the Eagles on this one, right? The Rams are a pretty weak team, despite their placement in their division. It's either they do really well against the team or they do really bad. Like, there's no in between. And I think they're going to do really bad because this is one of the better teams in the league that they're facing. The Philadelphia Eagles, who are 8-2 actually, and probably going to win their division this year. For the final game of the week, though, we have the Ravens versus the Chargers. I'll be taking the Ravens to win this game because are we forgetting who they are? Even though the Chargers have the better record right now, we're talking an AFC championship team, the Baltimore Ravens, up against a choker team like the Chargers. I will 100% be taking the Ravens in this game, and they're going to prove to the world in this game why they are still a top 4 team, just like they did with the Denver Broncos. But that's all for now. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider subscribing. It's free, it's optional. You can always unsubscribe later, and have a great day.